You used to represent Staten Island, which voted for President Trump the past 3 cycles. We did some digging. Nearly half of Staten Island's residents are on Medicaid, which now is going to face major cuts. How do you think voters are going to respond to that?
I can tell you that the vast majority of Trump voters did not vote for something like this. When you cut Medicaid, right, you're actually cutting a whole series of other things. You're cutting core funding for your hospital systems that are the largest employers in places like Staten Island. So you're causing a massive uptick in unemployment. You're cutting a whole series of funding for nonprofits that service the disabled and a whole series of other populations. And you are also cutting funding for veterans. We don't realize this, but nearly 1 million veterans receive some type of Medicaid supplemental service. Additionally, millions of veterans across the country are on some type of Medicaid plan. This takes a sledgehammer to veterans. That's not what any Trump supporter voted for. They thump their chest very proudly, saying how much they love America, how much they support veterans. That's not what this bill does. We are going to see the political implications of this year, not just next. Look at a state like Virginia, a statewide gubernatorial election in just a few short months, where after this passage of this bill, the Republican gubernatorial candidate is dead silent on this issue, afraid to voice one word of opposition to her hardcore MAGA base, whereas you see Abigail Spanberger, the Democratic candidate, loudly championing the rights of veterans and communities throughout Virginia. And this is going to send shockwaves through elections.
I mean, what you described sounds like political suicide. Congressman Curbelo, Republicans are taking a victory lap this morning. But do you see any political peril for Republicans in passing this bill that's going to slash Medicaid and take money out of the pockets of lower-income Americans and likely increase the nation's debt by up to $4 trillion? All that according to a nonpartisan budget analysis.
Well, and on the one hand, this is an impressive win for Speaker Johnson. I mean, anytime you can push through such massive, ambitious legislation with such tight margins in the House, it is impressive. On the other hand, this reconciliation instrument that Republicans are using has proved to be perilous for both parties. Both parties, when they have used reconciliation, they have lost at least one chamber in the following election. Why does that happen? Because reconciliation excludes a minority party. So these bills are very big, they're ambitious, they're aggressive in some areas, whether it's in their cuts or in their new investments. And then the public tends to have a backlash. So we will see if these Republicans can defy history, because in 2017, during President Trump's first term, House Republicans and Senate Republicans attempted to pass 2 reconciliation bills. One passed, which was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Then under the Biden administration, there were 2 reconciliation bills passed, the COVID relief bill and the Inflation Reduction Act. And Democrats lost one chamber after that. So history does not bode well, even though Republicans are celebrating today, and they should, because this was very difficult to do.
The midterms